Okay, today we're going to explore an extra sound that we haven't really looked at when in the previous studies, because there are different ways to get other sounds out of your cajon other than just snare and bass. Those are the two most common ones and the two most important ones, really. But there's other things to make your experience more interesting and make your playing a little bit more interesting, and ways to liven things up sometimes when you feel like maybe the music doesn't have the kick you would like it to have. And you don't have to be obnoxious about it, because it's just a simple little, another splash of color, if you will, that you're adding to the painting. So we're going to explore the side of the cajon, because it's a thicker piece of wood and it gets a different sound. There's two different sounds that I'm going to show you today, and you should experiment and see what other kinds of things, especially depending on where on the cajon you're playing. Now this one I like because it's not too far removed from home base here, and it's just that side sound. Now the lower you hit it, the more thudded it sounds. Get it up higher and it's a little higher sound, just like on the front. Another sound you can use is if you have a hard sole heel, or even if you don't have a hard sole heel, you can it against the side of the cajon here, and it has a sharper sound. In this case I'm wearing my flamenco shoes, so it has a wood on wood sound, which is nice. But you can experiment with whatever shoes you have. A real practical way to use it is in tangos. Sometimes in tangos they're putting in little sounds that, and they actually use instrumentation now. It has a salsa kind of feel. They're just basically incorporating sounds from other four-count rhythms that you might find in salsa in flamenco. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's up to you, it's personal opinion. I like it in very small doses. Some people like to go full out. That's up to them. What I'm going to do, we're going to take a basic flamenco pattern that we have, that we already know, this one. And we're going to put this sound in between our two bass hits. So we're going to go, okay. So all that does is give you a nice little extra sound, little sound dynamic, and it doesn't get too overwhelming because you're only hitting it once per every 4 counts. So it doesn't become this constant thing. It just gives you a way to liven up what's happening in the music. That is something I would probably use at the latter end of like a falsetto, or the latter end of letra, for example, because it's giving it one more dynamic to help build it. So if you start simple and build up in complexity a little bit, it makes for a nice resolve sometimes. It doesn't work with every single thing, but it certainly works in doses. So again, the technique of it is very simple. It's just like your normal pattern. However, you're going to go. Now, it could be a little bit difficult because you really got to open your leg or lean open so you can get to that spot, but hopefully you're flexible enough to do that. Here's another thing you can use. As I had said, you're just tapping the heel against the side of the cajon. It takes a little bit more coordination than the typical just using your hands up here, but it's a good practice, because if you wanted to incorporate cymbals or other things where you use your feet, you will now have some practice in that type of coordination. So now this is going to be more like a salsa feel, because you're going to actually mark 1, and let me see, 1, 2, 3. So you're still hitting the one we were doing before up here, but you're also doing the 1. So it's constantly going cha-cha, ba, cha-cha-cha, ba. So it's like the wood block or the cowbell kind of sound. So you're going. Which is nice. It's a little bit difficult if you're wearing flamenco shoes, because you have this curve, as you can see, and the heel is skinny, so you kind of have to turn your foot out and pivot on your toe to get this to make contact with the side of your cajon. It's a little bit of work. If you choose to do it that way, that's fine. If not, just use whatever dress shoe or something that has a harder sole, and it's a little bit easier because your sole in all likelihood is already protruding out from the side. So again, let's look at the technique of that. You're going to go same pattern that you've done here. This does not change. All you're going to do is add something. So you're going to go okay. Now it's a little bit difficult with this shoe. Sorry, I'm not more steady in this lesson, but again, just keep it simple. Slow it down if you need to. Okay, up to speed. Is the idea. Okay, so work on that. I will work on it myself. And now you have some more things to add to your repertoire. Explore other sounds in the cajon. We'll cover other things in the future.